Stories are favorite places. My name is Osadumibi, and every week I will tell you a short story written by a Nigerian writer or author. That's the long and short of it. So without much ado, this week's story is by Abigail Iyowuna, and it's titled Everybody Needs a Cafe They Call Home. When I first moved to Lagos, I went cafe hunting so I could find another place to replace Marley and Blue. Another place where the barista knew me by name, knew my favorite things on the menu, and even my favorite people. Another cafe I could call home. It was futile. I gave up within 2 months of trying. You see, Marley and Blue holds parts of me within her walls. Marley and Blue is the place where Destiny and I went on our first date. The place where she fell in love with me and I with her. The place we went to when both our lives were falling apart and we needed to find comfort in the shared mishap. It is the place where I learned to have hard conversations, and where I found out that knowing the rules of chess did not equate to knowing how to play. Within her walls, Ubong and I laid the foundation of this bond that will last a lifetime. Within her walls, he taught me how to play Monopoly. This, my friends, is my conniving capitalist origin story. It's the place where Destiny, Kewe and I played this one game of Twister, which made us consider taking exercise seriously. Marley and Blue is also the place I took Irene on our first date and said to her, I bring people here when I want them to fall in love with me. She fell in love with me and I with her because I finally saw Irene. At Marley and Blue, I spent what I feared might be the last time in a while, where I would have Charity, Dateme, Jojo, Nengi and Omi all in the same room with me. I made them all play charades with a stack of cards I had memorized from playing practically every 2 weeks, so I was on a winning streak. It's the place I gave myself the name Wild Abbey because I attended my first solo event there and went on a spree of several other solo events afterwards. Marley and Blue has all of this and more weaved into her full-length windows which allow sunlight to beam in from every angle, and the murals which grace her walls. It's in the covering of that sofa right by the staircase which allows you to sink freely into it like it had been waiting for you to come home. The sofa that became my absolute favorite place to sit. I think the memories and the love which have been built within her walls are tucked into the pages of that book which sits just beside the flower vase on the coffee table. Believe me when I say the tendrils of the plants which line the ceilings have the conversations of platonic and romantic lovers wrapped around them, tucked away for safekeeping. The art hung around the room. They have listening ears too. I can just hear the laughter erupting from the cushions of the chairs arranged by where I call the board game corner. On the high stools and wooden tables, stories that will change the world have been written. Deals which put food on the table have been made. And atop the wooden tables sits a row of potted plants which take in all of the CO2 and hate we don't need in the world. Most of the plants have dried up from trying to save us all. And on the wooden counter with the Marley and Blue logo, the barista thinks he's just making coffee. But what he is really doing is running the engine room for the place I now call home. I think it's the aroma of freshly brewed coffee which comes bursting up your nostrils immediately after you open the doors, which had me opening the doors again and again. I was a fool to think I could replace this. Do you know the irony? I only started drinking coffee after I moved to Lagos. Abigail Iyowuna is a writer who resides in Lagos, Nigeria. She is a marketing executive with an obsession to continuously express her love for her friends. The evidence is on her X page. She has a knack for adventure and one for people too. And she believes the greatest love story ever told is the one where God takes on the form of man to die for our sins. You can read more of her work on Medium at Abigail-Iyowuna and connect with her on Instagram at abigail.iyowuna. Details and links will be in the episode description. If you've got a story you would like to be featured on this podcast, or a published book you want to make into an audiobook, send an email to info@osadumebi.com or send me a message at Osadumebi on either Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. I look forward to collaborating with you. And if you've enjoyed this week's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend that stories are a good escape for a few minutes each week.